So you probably know some rich people, and you probably know some poor people, and a whole lot of people in between. And people are so used to thinking in terms of materialistic thinking. And what I mean by that is to say that they think of a rich person as someone who has cars and boats and houses and, lots of money and this and that. And they think of a poor person as someone who is the opposite, right? Is living in government housing, on food stamps, welfare, in poverty, right? But I'm here to tell you that poverty is in the mind. Poverty starts in the mind, and the people who are poor have a poor mentality, and wealth, real riches are in the mind. They start in the mind. Wealth starts in the mind. So for me, in terms of, I don't think of it so much in terms of a materialistic. What I think of it as when I see a rich person, granted, that hasn't inherited their money or whatever, just got lucky, won the lottery, right? Somebody who has accumulated these riches, this wealth for themselves, right? What I think about is someone who probably has a lot of knowledge and wisdom, experience, and the right mindset, the right attitude. They have a rich mind, a rich mentality, and what I mean by that is, whether you think you can or you think you cannot, either way you are right. And it goes so much deeper than that. You can get into subconscious beliefs that you don't even know you have, which is something that I've been working on, and that's kind of why, I guess, whatever, I'm thinking about all this. But so the person who is in poverty, who is poor, they don't think they can. They don't, or maybe they're lazy, but then that laziness seeps into the mind and manifests as other things, such as a reinforcing someone who believes they can but don't do anything. They eventually reinforce that they cannot do anything because they don't do anything. You can't really fool yourself. You know that song? It's like, you're fooling yourself, you don't believe it. It's true. But the person who believes they can and then actually takes action on it, does something, acts out in faith, whether they fail or succeed is not the point. The point is that they believe they can. And actually, the difference between someone who fails and succeeds is the one who burns the bridges, burns the boats, right? Who is determined to make it work, coupled with belief, knowledge, and then you gain experience, and then you gain wisdom, and someone who's smart enough to learn from other people. That's why I always say, it's like one of my mentors told me, read autobiographies of successful people. Take a mega superstar, right? Like Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you see him in success and riches and abundance and the height of what you think of as like the American dream or whatever, Hollywood movie star, right? Action star. And then read autobiography. I mean, he started out just like a regular person, but he had extraordinary, he was always taking action. And he was always taking action in accordance with his vision, right? So he had a vision. That's so important. So many people are walking around without a vision. They're not clear on what they want, or where they're going, where they are. They cannot take an accurate self-appraisal, because who wishes to be rigorously honest with themselves about where they are, how they've got there? Because where I am today is a direct result of things that I have done or have not done, and the mindset that I have had, the beliefs that I have had, right? Whether I knew that I had them or not, whether they were subconscious or not, everything. And a lot of it is like we're raised by our parents, and it's not their fault, right? Because what I'm saying is the only thing that I can do is take responsibility for my life and where I'm at, and make a decision on where I want to go. And I'm the only one that can have my vision. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's gonna have a vision for you, for your life. I don't know. I was reading the other day about people think it's like noble to be poor or whatever, like to have just enough. Like they think that the poor people think maybe probably like people who don't have a lot of money, who are not rich, they think, well, subconsciously, they might think that something wrong with being rich or wealthy, or something wrong with having money, something wrong with having more than I need. And part of that goes to mindset, because first of all, if you get your head right about money and understand that it's just a resource, okay? Because before money, all we did was like trade resources, and money was created so that we could more easily trade resources. And that's all it is. And also, if you think of it in terms of, well, I will be able to lessen the burden on others and on society, and also I will be able to create my own economy with the wealth that I generate. In other words, starting a business, I can put people to work, I can buy things from other people who make things to sell, right? And so I generate an economy, and I have to think in terms of like abundance, because the truth is there's enough money, right, for every person in the world to have $1 billion. And I mean, if they ran out, they just print more, because it's meaningless. It doesn't really mean anything. It's like, it's just, they just print it, you earn it, they print it. And so it's like I said, poverty begins in the mind, wealth begins in the mind. And so next time you see a poor person, I want you to really look at them in terms of, okay, do they have a poor mentality? Okay, and if someone has a poor mentality, but they're working towards not having it, they're working towards educating themselves, learning about psychology, of the mind. There's a great book, it's called Psycho-Cybernetics, that can help with that. And then there's another one called the Millionaire Mind. So anyway, but next time you see a wealthy person or a rich person, you know, I want to try and think of them as in terms of someone who has a wealth of the mind. You know, ask yourself, you know, do they have a wealthy mindset? Do they have a proper understanding of money and wealth and what do you call it? Prosperity, abundance, and start thinking in terms of instead of thinking in terms of materialistic, think in terms of what is going on in the mind. You know, man, that's good water. Mind is the one thing that nobody can ever take away from you. So build a strong one. All right, guys. Well, hope you're having a great day. It's a beautiful day out here. All right, see you guys. Peace.